Beautiful. Can you all see my screen? Excellent. Great. So we'll hop right into it. So yeah, we'll start with Bitcoin first today. I would like to go into USDTD and then obviously Ethereum with the Ethereum ETF coming up soon, right? I think that's really just tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And then we can dive into any other coins you guys have, right? So first off, Bitcoin broke through actually and closed above a previous inversion, right, at 64,300. We had this weekly candle close above. So now we're going to effectively look to retest this range. So on the daily, what I'd like to see here is we have one more level liquidity to take. And we also have some equal highs up here. So I think, monthly draw, high time frame draw, this is really, really bullish, right? On the monthly, we have 9 more days left on this candle. Weekly, we have 6 more days yet left. And then obviously daily, we have 6 more hours left on this one. So what I would like to see in the coming week, going into the week, is I would like to see this Monday candle print maybe just a little bit more fully, even if we close where we are now. I'd actually like to see us pump, which is actually looking like what's going to happen now at the 4-hour. I'd actually like to see us close the daily back in this range. So I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to mark these out. This is the Monday AMD range. Let's mark those out in, let's make them clear, like white, something very clear. So we have our range low and range high. So what I want to see is a range high taken at 68,485 within probably tomorrow. I'd like to see it. Yeah, tomorrow, the next day, Tuesday. And then it closes back in. So if, depending on what happens, right, if we're in this impulse right now, if you're long, great, SL break even, don't worry about it too much. But if you are not long, what I would like to see is actually the break of this range one more time, the closure back below. If we do not, if we do close back below 68,500, then we're going to have a clear, very clean setup to back down to 64 for a potential bounce back into the all-time high. So I would expect this to play out this week. I'm going to look for shorts if we close back in the 68,800 level after we take it, or the 68,500 level after we take it and close back in. I'm still looking for a potential scalp short up to 64. But I do consider Bitcoin to be slowing down here overall. Ethereum also slowing down a little bit, but the ETH BTC chart, take a quick look at that one. So this one's still playing out as expected. I drew this out, probably a week ago, roughly. I would see Ethereum actually still weakening. So like this is what's interesting is even with the ETF, I'm just going in an unbiased perspective here. It does look weaker than Bitcoin does. We did have the inversion, but we are going to close back above, but we are slightly below the previous weekly inversion, that the same one that Bitcoin has, this same candle. If we're looking at it really, we want to be above when we do this retest here, same thing will happen. The daily gets printed, we take the high first, or rather what I'd look for is I'd look for the high taken first, and then a rejection back down to about 34, 32. Because that would be a clean range to go long again. So I'm waiting for that range to tap to get the third tap of that range, because then we'd have the clean AMD structure, right? We have the first tap, we have the deviation down here, and then we have the third tap over here, right? And after that, that would be a very clean long up to at least 4K, if not more. But until then, I'm not long, not short, just going to wait for this AMD range to print out a little bit more. potentially scalp them long at the now USD one shot, then the high of 0.3 kind of the range in choose to, right? Because that would make the assumption that right now this is the deviation and we're back in range. So we're going to be playing effectively the short on USDTD slash your longs on your actual crypto pairs, right? And obviously, for those of you who aren't aware about USDT dominance, it is the inverse chart, meaning as it goes up, the crypto market will go down. As it goes down, the crypto market will pump. And for those of you who were on my previous streams, I will repoint this out again. On the monthly chart, we've been actually respecting a solid trend, right? A solid trend towards on the upside. However, for the first time, probably ever, really, besides, yeah, first time ever, actually, even down there, we didn't. First time ever, we actually we're inverting a monthly bearish completely to the downside, right? So meaning Vindle has 9 days left on this curve. If we close this candle exactly where we are now, then the target for USD dominance would be a monthly reversal back down to 2.1, meaning we're probably going to be seeing the biggest crypto pumps, probably not in history, but actually maybe in history, who knows? But because these back down here were solid, back down from 8% down to 4%, but now we're going to go 4% back down to 2. So maybe like other really good pumps, basically, is what I'm saying, in the very short term. Short term being the next year or so, right? Not short, maybe long term. Well, if this holds, right? So shorter term, I'm looking to do the same thing. I want this structure respected on the daily. The longer we consolidate underneath the 5%, the better. So I would like to see on the weekly, we actually wick into the 5%, wick above the 5%, and then close back below the 5%. So if we can do that, then we'd actually confirm the weekly reversal as well, which would mean that if you're intending to go long, we probably have only a short window to do so. If you want to go long and have your stops at this SMR, a short window to do so before we close back below 5%, and then literally every single coin will be pumping in beyond anyone's expectations. Now, if we look at the bear thesis here, if we are unable to close back below 5% and we hypothetically wick into and consolidate even above 5%, we'd actually be invalidating this previous CE where we tapped into. So really, even consolidation above 5% is a little iffy. It should be in the previous inversion we have on the monthly. So, again, a couple weeks here would lead to the inefficiency at the 7% tapped. So I could see this happening, right? We get a potential third tap on this trend there, and then maybe we could reject, we could reject again, right? So that's another area of interest back at the 7.3. But again, I would say worst case scenario, I'd like to see the 7.3 held and us to reject there, because as soon as we start to go above 7.3 on the high time frame, we are kind of stuck because we have a huge amount of liquidity. So a couple equal highs. We have a smooth OB at teal. We have a very strong equal high at 8 point. Typically speaking, the market likes to take effectively long SLs, right, on these ranges when these USDT levels were hit. And the market would like to take those before it actually does a reversal. So I have this level at 10% marked. This is kind of the apocalyptic I'll kind of reference that as well. This is the apocalyptic scenario. Is if we end above 6 and do not respect the 7.3, the next stop would be the 10%, and then we would be respecting after that, because we'd have a high level of liquidity already taken from that point, which would mean that we are still respecting this monthly trend, right? This monthly trend is really heavy pumps in crypto. Until then, we have to be very cautious about what we're doing and how we're doing it, because we're about to go back into the reversal zone above 5%. And then, as I mentioned, if we consolidate above 5%, the longer we do that, the worse it is. So yes, hopefully that answers, hopefully that's insightful. But yes, cool. So post any coins, now that I went through some of the macros here, post any coin whatsoever. I've been doing this for quite a few. Definitely open to any questions you guys might have. Awesome. So I'll take a look at Sol. Setups. Yes, I do have setups. If you have some idea setups, I do have some. Yes. So for Sol, I have these levels marked. What's interesting too is with Sol, the structure I would like it to be, because we don't necessarily have a third tap here. So I literally just opened the chart right now. I didn't draw it in at 15th, right? So a few days down here, I did it. So here's the interesting thing: we have a bull equal high right there, be taken, and we have a gap one day, the mark here. So this line actually could reference. I think this is strange. And the actual overall trajectory of the market. So over the next, I'm going to say year. Because if we can close this monthly candle above the OB, then we're great, right? We close 160 and then we take the high. If not, if we then close below 160, then we have a very, very smooth, incredibly smooth liquidity all the way down, right? All the way down here, where we would easily see a shift, market maker shift, to go back down to the $50 mark before we start to see another full reversal, right? A full high time frame reversal. So it really depends on the next thing. And actually, these levels down here line up with USDTD following to the 3.7%. So if we do take the 3.7%, look for Sol. My buy range on Sol is roughly going to be between the $40, $30 to $23. I have those levels marked, as you can see. This is high time frame. This might not hit until next year. But when it does, I'm going to be ready to buy, and I would expect you all be the same as well. Because then what would end up happening is this would be the new range confirmation at 26. That'd be the deviation. Your stop would be $6. I know it'd be a wide stop, but it's effectively a swing, right? And that would be a clean range. So we would want to see the range low taken, and then the reversal from that point. Assuming 7.3 is validated, right, on the weekly for USDT. Great. I will go through the questions in the order of you guys asking it. So Ferrer, welcome. Good to see you again. Happy to have you. I would say the one setup that I do like right now is ADA. So there's actually a couple that I'm in right now. ADA is one of them that I'm waiting for. Same thing, the weekly here. I'm expecting this weekly retest. So we have this SMR already. Even if we take the high one more time, so this is like slightly out of date, but even if we take the high one more time, we do have internal here, which means that I would actually expect us, even if we consolidate or take the high, to revisit the levels at 3.8 to 3.4. So I actually have some bids lined up in this range with the stop at 3.165. With the assumption that this range then holds as the deviation. So this is the previous range low, right? We do white there, we mark the two SMRs. There's 1, 2. This is pretty clean. So we go back to the third tap, and from there, I would expect to then long to the high time frame target of roughly 8.1 or 6.2. So that's an 8.7 roughly RR setup. I have those bids already in, so I'm just waiting for that one. And I don't have bids for this one, but again, if we take the high one more time from this Monday daily range, we've already had 3 taps, right? So we closed back below 4.2. We're actually still bullish right here. We haven't closed back below 4.25, which means that even if we consolidate over the next couple days and take the high one more time, I'd actually still expect my levels to be hit, because the high time frame bullish scenario would still be valid, right? So if anything, I'd be looking for shorts if that range holds up at 4.5. So hopefully that answers your question. I know there's some other ones out there like Starknet. I picked up some Starknet on spot, pretty clean here. We've had 2 SMRs. We've actually broken the range to the downside first, or sorry, to the upside first. Oh yeah, sorry, downside first, which is bullish. I know this is a little weird, but it's bullish in the sense that typically how I consider the market maker algorithm to work is to take out longs, and that's the intent of the structure, the entire structure. So even though we're actually at a new all-time low, the original intent was actually long because it wanted to take out longs first. So I'm picking up some spot down here. If we hold this range, even if we go up to $1, I'm actually going to keep trailing my stop all the way up to $4 if you get the full extension, right? The fib extension back up to like 3.9 or 4. This is a spot play. I'm just holding Starknet for a little bit. I could see it outperforming Ethereum as well in the coming days. So let's see what else. Woo, I was looking at a little bit before. This again, I drew this up back in June. You can see this line here. It's still holding true. I had one bid down here, and it was filled on Woo. This was a spot play. I'm in profits now, just kind of waiting and chilling. If you want to hold this range, right, you can actually get in the near future. This is a very clean range as well. Even if we consolidate right here, super bullish from this range, because this is going to be one range confirmation, and then as soon as we get back above 22 cents, that's 2 range confirmations. So I'd actually expect the range high taken at 64 cents over the long time frame, right? I can keep going. I can keep rattling them off, but I'll do Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I did actually just a few moments ago. Tradings, 3000. I'll just briefly recap it for you. Effectively, I'm expecting the high to be taken. Whether or not this is an impulse high take, right, like this, and then a closure back below, or if we can close and consolidate, also doesn't, it paints the picture for me. But for now, I am not taking long or short on Bitcoin. I would wait for the Monday range, and if my criteria that I like to see is the closure back below after 68,355 is taken, the closure back below on the daily to take the AMD short back down to 63, or the closure consolidation back above to take the continuation long to 72 and above, right? But I typically don't like trading on Mondays for that reason. It builds the Monday range, the weekly range, the weekly profile for the most part. So hopefully that answers your question. ZIL, well, I actually haven't looked at ZIL, but thank you for putting that to my radar as well. Let me just briefly look at, ZIL is really nice. Holy smokes, dude, this is good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love charts like this. This is so beautiful. We have smooth OB down there. I might just do this one on the weekly. This looks so clean. We have 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're breaking back above a weekly range. And let's check the monthly candle. Oh, beautiful, right? Even if this, I'll say this much, 9 days left in this candle, right? Even if this candle closed exactly where it is right now, this would actually be the equal low take, right? And we would, even if we consolidate up here, what would end up happening would be this would rocket so hard, so quickly, it would be pretty intense. I'll say that much. We have a, oh my goodness, dude. Do we have a smooth OB here or dudette? I don't know. I don't, no genders here, but oh my goodness, this is an amazing chart, I will say. This, I absolutely love ZIL. I actually haven't looked at it in a while, but thank you for putting it to my attention. Lower time frames. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty clean, if we want to use that as the SMR, that's pretty clean as well. Alts, I will say, look incredibly more bullish than some of the other things, like Total 3, for example. You know, this is the same thing. Like, I would want maybe just a slight pullback on Total 3. I drew this a few days ago as well. Slight pullback on Total 3, but this is a, this, excuse me, sorry. Phone call. Yeah, so I would expect basically a pullback sometime this week. I don't know exactly when, maybe after Tuesday. Closure back below, pullback. I'm looking to long. Maybe I will take a alert right about here, 50, yeah, 5969 longs. And basically what I'm looking to do is basically play this range, right? We get this retest, the 580 roughly, 590, and then we hold because this weekly profile here would actually be, for those of you who know AMD structures, this would be an incredibly strong weekly AMD structure that's supported with a low time frame retest. So basically the highs of 170 and then 8 and then to basically to 1, almost to 1 trillion would be on the table for me for this next extension, right? So green here would be what I'd want to see for this next extension. So yes, very, very close to that scenario as well. So longs for alts are definitely on the table for me. Saul, hey, welcome. Thank you. Cipher, what do you think about price action trading with the main focus on market structure? What do you think about? Yeah, that's actually kind of what I do for the most part. So I kind of completely, I love price action trading. Oh, sorry, Ferrer. Yes, Ondo, I'll get to that in a second. I love price action trading. As you can see, my chart has literally no indicators on it. I don't even use volume for the most part. And literally all I use is price action and market structure. That's it. So I like to keep things simple. You know what they say for, I'm also an engineer, or rather a software and computer science engineer. So I actually read the white papers that some of these blockchains put out. I know that's crazy, but I understand how these nodes work. I have run a few. I run a algo and void nodes. So if you're familiar with any of the algo chain nodes, those are very great. And I'm also into blockchain security as well. So in my day job, I'm in cybersecurity. So for those of you who are aware, engineering as a mindset, right? Like I try and keep things simple because the simplicity is key, especially in engineering. You don't want to overcomplicate things because the more parts are in a system, the more likely some part is going to break. So I try and do that with my trading as well. I try and keep things incredibly simple, just using market structure, just using price action, and then just going from that. So hopefully that answers your question. But great question either way. Yes. Ondo. Let's see. I think you asked about Ondo before. Oh yeah. So this is Ondo for me. In a very similar state here. We're at a make or break level. So I can send you this chart. Basically, I want to see the high taken. If we take this high, and then I'll update this chart here. Right. If we take this high and then start closing below, super bearish. But if we take this high and then start closing above, then super bullish. It's really like we are so close to being complete shift of structure here. So for now, I'm willing to take a risky short at these levels. If we pump, right, if we pump to 1.1645 roughly, I'll circle this for you as well. And then I will post this in the chart for you as well, in chat for you as well. And let's see. Yeah, basically that one. So I'm looking to potentially take a risky short here if we do pump. But if we consolidate, I will either close at break even or or just wait for SL to hit, depending on what the price action is. But I do want to see this break above and the closure below, because that would confirm to me that this is going to be a bearish structure. And what we would see with Ondo would basically be something like this, right? Where we go, where we basically build out almost like a, yeah, if you're pattern trading, almost like a pennant, right? A bullish pennant, where we go through here on the bottom and then close back up below this range, also an AMD structure. That would be the reversal I'd want to see. So here's green. We have these really strong equal lows right at 162. And then this would actually support, we have a range low here before this range was created, a deviation. We have a third tap here, but it really depends on what this impulse does down here, right? For Ondo. But I'm probably going to go for risky shorts if we pump a little bit more on Ondo. Really depends on how the structure builds out a little bit more. COS. Yes, let's do COS real quick. And if there's anything else you guys want me to take a look at, I can do that. So COS, I love it. See, I opened this chart, guys, and it followed my line almost exactly. Like I drew this back in June. We had this dump. We're now pumped. We pumped a little bit. Now with this though, it looks like I originally think it's going to break below these equal lows first. And if we break below these equal lows, I'd look to long costs at around 1.0. However, really depends on whether or not we can get above this range. If we can get above this range, the short, I'm still looking for, this is a lower high already. So I'd actually be looking for shorts on costs here. We've had, this is already making, as you can see, it's forming effectively lower high or higher highs, but with lower, slopes to them effectively. So strength is diminishing already. So even if we pump through, maybe you can pump through like this a little bit, right? That would be bearish sign, I'd say. Right now, cost looks like it's running out of steam a little bit, and we have this triple equal low down here at 0.1. So I would almost expect a little bit more of a pump before this starts to run out of gas, and then we can reevaluate it back below 10 cents. Because obviously you can see this structure here is kind of like curving this down, right? So it's curving down right now. I'd expect that curvature to continue, even if we break down here and then break back above 9, right? Break back above, we retest again, possibly, depending on what consolidation happens after that point. We could either support this sell side of the curve or not. So as you can see, the selling structure there is pretty strong. So until we can break above that, then only looking for shorts on costs. Long term, really, long term. If you're talking short term, again, same thing. I'd still looking for shorts. Still looking for shorts. I probably would anchor my stop pretty high, but let's see. Let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, so we still have these inefficiencies down here. So I'd almost expect that this AMD to play out, and then we get into this range. So basically, I'd expect green to play out really, even on the low time frames. We pump above, hit 19, maybe 19 cents roughly, maybe 20. If we can break above this and make a higher high, and then consolidate, great. But for me, the RR is much more worth it to take the short from this range, considering we're already slowing down a little bit. Cool. Any other coins you guys have? Or questions? You can hit me with questions. That's fine too. Yes. DOT. The coin that is part of my name. So for DOT, also fairly bullish. One thing that's interesting though is that we do have these range highs above 7 that have not been tapped as inefficiencies. So I'll be honest, I think what could happen is history can repeat itself, right? We have a structure here where we go up we go down and then up and then basically make a bearish recovery. Down, make a bearish recovery. Down, make a bearish recovery. Down, make a bearish recovery, right? So I'd be 6.6 to 7.3. So yeah, basically in this zone. That would be my short range. Stops could either be at red or orange, depending on how risky you want to go through with your RR. So same thing here, right? It's this would be the play. But again, this is not very good RR. So what I would do is I would probably play this by ear. Basically, if we get to levels, probably the 7, I'd probably look for the 7 level more likely, 7.12. If we can see this pump a little bit more and then reverse, great. If not, what I want to see here for the reversal would be the break above 6.6 on the daily and then the consolidate. As soon as we can break 7.2 and consolidate above like that, even if it's just like a little iffy, then I would say this would be a good high time frame reversal. However, we haven't done that yet on the high time frames. We've done it on the low time frames, right? We've taken the low, but now basically the level to beat, right? Next level to beat is 6.62. So really, if you want to talk about shorts here, this would be the next short range, meaning after we punch this one, I'm expecting that to be the third tap. So if we're talking lines here, right? Basically something like, I'll delete these lines a little bit just to make it cleaner. Something like this, where we break the high here one more time, and then basically build out what many people would call a bear flag again, right? Because this is kind of what this was already, right? That was a bear flag where we broke below. Same thing happens. I'm basically expecting the same thing to happen again if we break below. However, we do have a few things in our favor. We swept liquidity to the downside, which again means that if we can hold this structure above 7 for on the daily long enough, then this would be great. Otherwise, I actually have you can see I have an alert right around here, because as soon as we puncture the 7.3, I'm looking to short. I would probably be shorting around there to get with the stops around 7.7 or 7.5, with my end target to be roughly in the range of the $3 mark. So something like this. Yes, because of the daily inefficiencies, right? So we have not formed a high time frame. So just play the trend, right? This trend is still down, even though the high time frame trend is still down, right? We made 2 legs down until we can actually consolidate above 7. Then I'm not bullish here just yet. For the highs, right? Because we do have untapped liquidity all the way down here at the 4 and the 3. So what I'd like to see is the pump and then the reversal back down to 3. At that point, I would go full bull tard and basically full port dot. And because that would be the last weekly, the high time frame inefficiency in the entire chart. Everything on the chart would have been taken, which means that its reversal would be under the $4 mark for me, with the high time frame targets of $23 after that. So because that's the last, if you look at the high time frame, that's literally the inefficiency left on the entire chart. So I'm not full bull tard on dot just yet until we get to like $4, basically. Once we get to $4, then I'll full port it on 100x leverage. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Excellent. Any last questions before I head off? Beautiful. Also, random aside, for those of you who don't know, I did pick up a couple random spot plays. And please hit me up with any spot plays you have. I love spots as well. Beam is at an interesting point where we just took the lowest liquidity on the entire chart and we closed back above this monthly. And if we close just slightly above where we are now in the next 9 days, then we're going to invert this monthly, and then we'll be inverted this weekly. So this is a random coin that I found that basically I like to look at structure charts that have effectively 0 to no inefficiencies left, or very clean structures on them. This is one of them, because as soon as we take the range high on this monthly and invert it, even if we consolidate here above the 0.05 cents, over the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, this could easily go back to 50, because of how the chart is structured right now. So this is something that I'm holding a nice bag on spot, and I'm just going to chill on it for a bit and wait till it gets to 55 cents. Render, sure, yeah. I could do 2 more if you guys have questions, and then we can jump on to, and then I have to jump. Let's see, render USDT. Why is it not on? Is it just called something different? No, it's not. That's weird. I haven't looked at render in a long time, which is why it's not showing up for me on MEXC. Whatever. I'll use the Binance chart. No, that's not it. Is that it? No, that is not that. That's not it. I will use the, here, I'll just use this. Yeah, okay, great. Oh, render, change name, right, yes, that's probably why. Well, maybe the charts, yeah, just it's not showing just yet. So what I'll do is I will use the, yeah, no wonder. I was like, I do remember charting it recently, so I don't know why it's not showing up. But yes, thank you for reminding me. So let's just briefly mention here, this is cool. Got a range low there. Now it's, now it's range low, right? We have weekly, monthly here. We just dipped into no CE yet. Printed equal lows here. That's a little iffy. Not a huge fan of that. What else do we got up here? Nothing much. 1, 2, 3. Yep, still supporting, barely. But that could be the deviation. So really what I would like to see now is we have 1 level and 2 levels and 3 levels. So the weeklies, right? So daily here, we have smooth OB right there. Is that smooth OB? No, okay, never mind. 1, 2, yep, that looks good. Got a daily inversion we're dipping back into, and an OB mitigation. Okay, so there are a couple things here. This is pretty neat, nice for a scalp. Yeah, this could be good. We got some nice little liquidity up there. What else do we got? Oh, we got an inversion up here. 1, 2. This entire range is pretty rough, but yeah, I mean, this is I don't know. I'm not sold yet, but we need to have the daily. Let's see. Let's look at the lower time frames. So I'll say this much: render as a token. Oh, there's one. There's a smooth OB, and then plus the equal lows there. Render as a token is great. I think the concept of it is useful. Having GP rendering decentralized. However, yes, as a token, it's as a coin itself. This is a little bearish, right? We did make closures back in, and this is yellow here. We did make closures back in the $8 mark, and we did have a full market maker by extension, and we were unable to make a new high. Right, that's kind of a little problematic there as well on the weekly. So I would almost say that the first thing I'd look for would be just a range by range basis. And it looks like just on a range by range basis, we could probably see if this holds on the daily, I'd want the closure back above $7. So $7, I'd start to get bullish again on this. Until then, here, I'll make this thicker. Make it white again. So yeah, until then, I would say right now we're still aiming for the lows. I mean, yeah, even if we push up just slightly, even if we just go like this, like I'd almost expect it to continue to range down. So not looking too good, right? Like something like this I could see happen where we go up to $10. If we pump up to $10 from this range, I would probably look to short it depending on how we consolidate, right? Here's the thing, right? If we get closures back above 7 and we can keep getting closures on the daily back above 7, then I'll be bullish because this would be the SMR. But if we impulse wick, if we do a huge pump really fast and then are unable to close above 8.8, so even if we do something like this, then I would look to short pretty quickly because that would be the reversal for me, right? Still a bit bearish here. But yeah, like if you want to do trend, right, we could do something like this and say, okay, well, we're sort of gonna probably form something like this. Even if we pump high, we do have trend line liquidity on the high time frame right up there. So even if we pump high, I'd still look to short back down to take the CE here, which is a little iffy. Like we didn't touch this, so that's why it's already been validated. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm still looking to short here. I might long if on the 4 hour. On let's see, let's look at the 4 hour real quick. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I would say if you want a long, this is actually not too bad of a long here because we did have closures back in range. But for me, my stop would be like probably somewhere in this, because as soon as we start getting below $6, I'll put this in red. Roughly, yeah. As soon as we get below $6, then what we're gonna see happen is we're gonna see this smooth OB and the equal lows taken. So at that point, we might as well just have a tighter RR. So if I was to do a long here, yeah, not the cleanest structure. So I'm probably not gonna take this, but I'm just saying like as a hypothetical. You'd have your stop, you'd have your entry roughly in that zone, and then you'd have where it would be TPs. Nothing. I mean, maybe like here, the 7.7. First, then I'd say the short is more valid, right? But if we take the low first, and then we can close back above 1.2, then the long is more valid. But really, I would wait until the Monday range holds because all of these coins show almost an identical signature, right, with regards to where they are. Like they have a deviation. They closed above. This one looks nicer. However, I do not like these equal lows down here. This is not a good sign. So I would say even if we pump, I would look to possibly short this one as well. So I'll mark this as well as orange. So orange for me is less likely. What I'd like to see is blue. I would like to see blue, and then I would probably look to short if we get back in range, obviously, on the 1.75, and then the app here. However, orange as this is the range, but that Fed isn't as clean for me. Let me just look at other charts here. Yeah, 9 days. A lot can happen in 9 days. So this monthly candle here, right? We didn't necessarily. So let's look. What did we do here with this monthly? So we never tapped CE down here at 1.022. Weekly. Yeah, so honestly, I would not go long until after we dip below $1. So I'd want to see something like this, where we go $1, and then we basically take all the liquidity, maybe even as low as 50 cents, right? And then close back above 80 cents on FET. I don't know when this is going to happen, but this is kind of my long bias. I'd want to see this taken, the liquidity taken all the way down back to previous opening range, and then I would start taking longs on it. But until I'm starting and analyzing you guys as usual. You guys know where to find me. You can hit me up in DMs.